Chapter 15, 128 Reasons to Believe. March 5th, 2226. Toshinori Yagi, better known as All Might, slouched in his chair, his gaunt form a stark contrast to the heroic figure plastered across billboards. The reviewing room hummed with quiet conversation as his fellow teachers dissected the practical entrance exam results. He rubbed his sunken eyes, fighting exhaustion. These meetings always drained him, but today felt particularly taxing. Principal Nizu's voice cut through the chatter. Let's move on to our top 3 scores, shall we? The small chimera tapped a claw against his teacup, drawing everyone's attention. Ectoplasm, if you do the honors. The mathematics teacher nodded, his mask betraying no emotion as he pulled up the first file. Third place, Kami Utsushimi. 48 villain points, 27 rescue points. The screens flickered to life, showcasing a blonde girl weaving through robot attackers. Her movements were fluid, almost dance-like, as she dodged metallic claws and energy blasts. But it was her quirk that truly captivated the room. Illusions shimmered into existence. False targets, environmental hazards, even copies of the girl herself. Robots faltered, their sensors struggling to differentiate reality from fiction. In their confusion, Utsushimi slipped behind them, deactivating control panels. Midnight leaned forward, her lips curving into an impressed smile. Now that's using your head. Creative quirk application and solid tactical awareness. Agreed, Izawa grunted, his bloodshot eyes fixed on the footage. But relying too heavily on misdirection could become a crutch. She'll need to develop other skills to round out her abilities. Vlad King crossed his arms, the motion stretching his skin-tight costume. True, but that level of control at her age is impressive. With proper training, she could become a formidable hero. The conversation continued, teachers debating the finer points of Utsushimi's performance. All Might found his attention drifting, his mind replaying a long-ago encounter on a rooftop. A desperate question from a quirkless boy. Ectoplasm's voice snapped him back to the present. Second place, Katsuki Bakugo. 77 villain points, 0 rescue points. The screens erupted with explosions. A spiky-haired boy tore through the exam site, his palms igniting with concussive blasts that reduced robots to scrap metal. His movements were precise, each detonation carefully controlled to maximize damage. Raw power and expert quirk control, Cementos observed, his blocky features impassive. But that rescue point total is concerning. Snipe tilted his head, the lenses of his gas mask reflecting the destruction on screen. Kid's got a mean streak, that's for sure. Ain't even seemed to notice the other examinees. Perhaps, Nizu interjected, his tone thoughtful. But we mustn't overlook potential. Many great heroes started with rough edges. Recovery Girl harumphed, her small frame radiating disapproval. Rough edges are one thing. This boy shows a complete disregard for collateral damage. He'll be a nightmare to treat if he keeps that up. I'll whip him into shape, Izawa said, a hint of challenge in his voice. Raw talent like that is worth the effort. The debate intensified. Teachers split on Bakugo's merits and liabilities. All Might found himself frowning, something about the boy's ferociousness striking an uncomfortable chord. Another memory surfaced. A sludge villain, a hostage situation, a quirkless boy rushing in. A gentle touch on his shoulder jolted him from his reverie. Queen, Recovery Girl's assistant, gave him a concerned look. Are you all right, All Might? You seem distracted. He forced a wan smile. Just tire, my dear. Nothing to worry about. Nizu cleared his throat, recapturing the room's focus. And now, our top scorer. Ectoplasm. The math teacher's posture straightened almost imperceptibly. First place, Izuku Midoriya. 68 villain points, 60 rescue points. The air in the room seemed to shift as the footage began. A green-haired boy moved with purpose through the chaos, his actions a stark contrast to Bakugo's unbridled aggression. Midoriya's fights were calculated, each move designed to disable robots efficiently while minimizing collateral damage. But it was his rescue efforts that truly stood out. The boy seemed to have a sixth sense for danger, repeatedly placing himself in harm's way to protect other examinees. He used the environment to his advantage, using debris as projectiles and guiding others to safety. Remarkable situational awareness, Vlad King murmured, leaning forward in his seat. He's treating this like a real crisis, not just a test. Midnight nodded, her expression a mix of approval and curiosity. And look at that physicality. His strength and speed are well above average for his age. The footage continued, showcasing Midoriya's tactical mind and impressive combat skills. All Might found himself leaning closer, a nagging sense of familiarity tugging at him. Those eyes, that determined set of the jaw. Then came the zero-pointer. The room fell silent as they watched Midoriya's daring rescue of the trapped girl, his ingenious use of her quirk, and the spectacular takedown of the massive robot. Even Aizawa's perpetual scowl softened, replaced by grudging respect. Now that, the Erasure hero said, is how you ace an entrance exam. Present Mike suddenly snapped his fingers, his voice rising with excitement. I knew I recognized this kid. He was on the news a few weeks back. Cleaned up that whole beach by himself. Tacoba Municipal, I think. All Might's breath caught in his throat. The beach. The training ground he considered for. No, it couldn't be. Nizu's voice cut through his spiraling thoughts. Most impressive of all, this Midoriya boy is quirkless. The word hung in the air like a physical thing. Quirkless. Green hair. A rooftop conversation that had haunted All Might for months. Tashinori. He blinked, realizing Nizu had been calling his name. The principal's beady eyes studied him with unsettling intensity. Are you quite all right? You look as though you've seen a ghost. All Might forced a laugh, waving off the concern. Just surprised, that's all. A quirkless student scoring so high. It's unprecedented. Nizu hummed non-committally, but All Might could feel the principal's analytical gaze boring into him. Indeed. Well, I believe that concludes our meeting for today. Tashinori, a word in my office, if you please. As the other teachers filed out, All Might's mind raced. Could it really be the same boy? But he looked so different now. Confident, powerful. Nothing like the scrawny, desperate child from that rooftop. He followed Nizu down the winding corridors of UA, lost in thought. The principal's office was a reflection of its occupant. Organized chaos, with stacks of books and papers covering every surface. Nizu settled behind his desk, gesturing for All Might to take a seat. Now then, Nizu said, steepling his paws. What's really on your mind, old friend? All Might sighed, his skeletal form seeming to shrink further. Is it that obvious? Only to those who know you well. Nizu's tone was gentle, but his eyes remained sharp. This Midoriya boy, you've met him before, haven't you? There was no point in denying it. All Might nodded, the weight of his past decisions settling heavily on his shoulders. About 10 months ago, he asked me if a quirkless person could become a hero. Nizu's ears twitched. All Might's voice faltered. I told him no, that it was too dangerous, that he should find another dream that's realistic. Silence stretched between them. Nizu sipped his tea, his expression unreadable. I see, the principal said at last. And now, All Might stared at his hands, clenching and unclenching them slowly. Now I'm wondering if I made a terrible mistake. If I crushed that boy's dreams, only for him to prove me spectacularly wrong. Nizu set down his cup, his tone thoughtful. Perhaps, or perhaps your words motivated him to push beyond his perceived limits. We can't know for certain. What should I do? For now, nothing. Nizu's gaze softened slightly. Let the boy enjoy his victory. There will be time for conversations and potential mentorship once classes begin. All Might nodded, feeling a mix of relief and trepidation. You're right, of course. Thank you, Nizu. As he stood to leave, the principal's voice stopped him. Tashinori, remember, the mark of a true hero isn't never making mistakes. It's how we learn from them and move forward. All Might managed a small smile. I'll try to keep that in mind. He left Nizu's office, his mind still churning with possibilities. Whatever the future held, one thing was certain. Izuku Midoriya was a student to watch. And perhaps The answer to a question All Might had been asking himself for far too long. Who would inherit the mantle of One for All? March 11th, 2226. I closed the laptop and sprinted downstairs, taking the steps two at a time. Mom stood in the living room, still in her running clothes, clutching a thick envelope to her chest. It came. Her voice trembled. Special delivery. The UA seal gleamed red against the crisp white paper. Heavy. That meant more than just a letter. Probably a data disk. Or, sweetie. Mom held out the envelope. Don't you want to open it? Right. I took it carefully, settling onto the couch. The paper felt expensive, substantial. Mom perched beside me, hands clasped tight. Whatever it says, dash. I know, Mom. I broke the seal and pulled out a folded letter. A small metal disc clattered onto the coffee table. Is that a dash? The disc hummed to life, projecting a massive image against the far wall. All Might's larger-than-life smile filled our living room, his yellow suit practically glowing. I am here. As a projection. Mom grabbed my arm. I barely noticed, too busy processing the sight of the symbol of Peace himself delivering my exam results. The last time I'd seen that smile up close. No one's ever become a hero without a quirk. It's not bad to dream, but you need to be realistic. You are probably wondering why I am here. All Might's recorded voice boomed through our living room. Well, young Midoriya, I have taken a position as a teacher at UA. What? But that's not what this is about. He shuffled some papers, still grinning. Are you ready to see your results? Mom's grip tightened. First, the written exam. Young Midoriya, you scored an impressive 96%, one of the highest marks we've seen this year. This score alone would qualify you for general studies. The projection changed to show my exam paper, covered in neat writing and complex diagrams. But of course, the hero course requires more than academic excellence. In the practical exam, you've demonstrated remarkable combat prowess, scoring 68 villain points through direct confrontation. Footage played of my fights, precise strikes disabling robots, efficient takedowns maximizing points. However, All Might's face returned, his smile somehow wider. That's not all UA was looking for. A true hero's worth isn't measured solely by the villains they defeat. The screen shifted again. My breath caught. There I was, sprinting toward danger while everyone else ran away. The zero-pointer loomed impossibly large, but the camera focused on my face calm, focused, already planning. Young Uraraka's testimony was quite moving. All Might's voice softened. She described how you not only rescued her, but took time to learn her name, understand her quirk, and incorporate her abilities into your strategy, all while under extreme pressure. The footage continued, showing my improvised throw and the zero-pointer's dramatic fall. Defeating villains is part of the job, but saving people, that's the true mark of a hero. And you, young man, exemplified that spirit perfectly. Mom's hands covered her mouth. For your rescue of multiple students and your innovative use of teamwork, 60 rescue points. 60? This brings your total score to 128 points, the highest in UA entrance exam history. The projection showed a scoreboard. My name sat at the top, well above the previous record. Young Midoriya. All Might's expression grew serious. You've proven that heroism transcends quirks. You've shown that true strength lies not in the powers we're born with, but in how we use our abilities to help others. He stood, the camera pulling back to frame him against UA's impressive facade. Welcome to your hero, Academia. The projection flickered out, leaving us in stunned silence. Izuku. Mom's voice cracked. You did it. You really did it. She threw herself at me, happy tears soaking my shirt as she hugged me tight. My baby's going to be a hero. I hugged her back, my own eyes stinging. The highest score ever. Not just good enough to get in, but good enough to shatter records. To prove beyond any doubt that I belonged at UA. I need to call Gramps. My voice sounded distant to my own ears. Mom pulled back, wiping her eyes. Call everyone. We're celebrating tonight. I'll make Kat sit on and dash. My phone rang. FaceTime. Cammie's contact photo filled the screen. 30 seconds before I was on the bullet train over. Her grin faltered when she saw my face. Izu, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I shook my head, laughing. I got in. Of course you did. What did I tell you? They'd be idiots not to dash. Highest score in exam history. She froze mid-sentence. What? 128 points. 68 villain, 60 rescue. Holy shit. Her eyes widened. That's incredible, says the girl who can create perfect illusions. Don't change the subject. She leaned closer to her camera. We're going to be classmates. Let me check first. I picked up the pamphlet, flipping past a few pages. Yep, looks like we're both in 1A. For real. Cammy bounced in her seat, her blonde hair catching the sunlight streaming through her window. Hold it up to the camera. I turned the page toward her, showing the red class 1A. We did it. She launched into an elaborate victory dance. Just like I said at UA. Remember? Manifest this. She struck a pose, perfectly mimicking her stance from that day. Your girl's got that manifestation power. Pretty sure that's not how your quirk works. Details, details. She dropped back in her chair, grinning. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I'm coming down next week to apartment hunt. Need to get settled before school starts. Already? That's fast. Mama insisted. Said if I'm going to actually go to UA, I need proper living arrangements. She rolled her eyes fondly. Can't have her princess commuting 6 hours each way. Mom appeared behind me again, drawn by our laughter. Are you two planning already? Midoriya-san. Cammy straightened, smoothing her hair. I was just telling Izu I'll be in town next week. Looking for apartments, right? Mom's eyes sparkled. You know, there's some lovely units in our building. The Yamazakis just moved out of 4B right next door. Mom, what? I'm just saying it would be convenient. You two could study together, train together. That's so thoughtful. Cammy leaned closer to her camera. I'd love to check it out. And finally meet you properly, Midoriya-san. Mom beamed. Oh my, aren't you stunning? Those eyes, that smile. Izuku, you didn't tell me she was this beautiful. Mom, it's true though. She squeezed my shoulders. You should bring her for dinner when she visits. I'll make my special katsudon. The famous katsudon. Cammy's eyes widened. Izu says it's literally the best thing ever. Does he now? Mom's smile turned sly. Well, we can't disappoint then, can we? You're welcome any time, dear. Thank you, Midoriya-san. I'd love that. There was a knock on Cammy's door. Shoot, that's my cue. Talk later? Yeah. Text me when you're free. Always do. She waved. Bye, Midoriya-san. Can't wait to meet you properly. The call ended. Mom hummed thoughtfully. Izu, huh? Don't start. I'm not starting anything. She headed back to the kitchen. Though 4B is available. I groaned but couldn't stop smiling. The acceptance letter sat on my desk, proof that everything was changing. In just a few weeks, Cammy and I would walk through UA's gates together, ready to start our hero journey. Now, that was worth manifesting. Chapter 16. Overthinking Undercover. I stared at the Power Stone counter in disbelief. What? The actual dash. I pushed my glasses up, squinting at the numbers. We're at almost 600 Power Stones. How did, when did? My hands flailed, sending my current notebook flying. Various pens scattered across my desk, a few managing to land perfectly in my cold coffee mug. The splash created an interesting ink pattern on my latest character sketch. Great. Now Izuku looks like he has purple freckles. You readers are absolutely insane, I muttered, pulling my hood back and gathering my scattered writing implements. I didn't think you'd actually... the challenge was supposed to be... I slumped back in my chair, chewing on my sleeve as I contemplated the situation. The numbers didn't lie. We were rapidly approaching 600 Power Stones. Fine. A deal's a deal. I straightened up, adjusted my glasses, and pulled out a fresh notebook. You magnificent overachievers deserve this bonus chapter. But don't think this means you've won. You only hit it one time. March 19th, 22:26. I checked my phone again. 12:47. The train wasn't due for another 28 minutes. I'm too early. The station bustled with weekend traffic. Families returning from shopping trips, couples heading for lunch dates, salarymen catching up on missed work. I found a quiet corner near the arrivals board and tried to look casual. Should have grabbed coffee first. But no, caffeine would just make the overthinking worse. And I was doing plenty of that already. 3 weeks of daily video calls. Hours of talking about everything and nothing. Sharing UA prep notes, comparing workout routines, slowly learning each other's habits and quirks. Like how she always played with her hair when solving a problem. Or how her nose scrunched up right before laughing at her own jokes. Stop it. I pulled out my phone, pretending to check messages while actually studying my reflection in the black screen. The outfit was maybe trying too hard, but Mom had insisted. You want to look nice for your friend Cammy, don't you? It's not like that. Was it? The arrivals board updated. Her train was running 2 minutes early. My hands wouldn't stop fidgeting. Keep it professional. She's going to be your classmate. Your friend. Friend, right? Just because she called every night, usually right before bed. Just because she'd taken to sending good morning texts with ridiculous selfies attached. You're reading too much into things. She's naturally friendly. Outgoing. Don't make it weird. The station speakers crackled. Platform 3, arriving from Sapporo. I straightened, adjusting my collar one last time. Professional. Casual. Normal. The train glided in, all sleek lines and polished steel. Passengers began filtering out, wheeling suitcases and shouldering bags. I scanned the crowd, looking for that distinctive blonde hair. Izuku. My head snapped up at her voice. There, halfway down the platform, practically bouncing with energy. She wore a cream-colored sweater dress that somehow made her look both elegant and cozy, her hair catching the afternoon sun. Oh, she spotted me. Her whole face lit up. Oh no, Izuku. The next few seconds played out in slow motion. Cammy broke into a run and launched herself at me with the grace of a gymnast. Pure reflex took over. I caught her easily. One arm supported her weight as she wrapped her legs around my waist. Her momentum spun us in a half circle, drawing more than a few stairs. Hi, she breathed, face inches from mine. Her arms looped around my neck, settling into the embrace like she belonged there. Professional plan status, complete failure. Hi, good trip. Boring. Until now. She made no move to let go. If anything, she snuggled closer. You're warm. Heat crept up my neck. We should probably get your bag. You already got it. I glanced over her shoulder. Sure enough, my free hand had snagged her duffel during the spin. Muscle memory was a hell of a thing. Show off. She poked my chest. I like the outfit, by the way. Very model off-duty. Mom picked it. Smart woman. Knows how to dress her son. Her grin turned mischievous. Though I bet you spent at least 20 minutes overthinking it. 15. She laughed, the sound vibrating through both of us. Called it. You're such a worrier. Someone has to balance out your chaos energy. Rude. I'm a delight. She finally unwound her legs, sliding down, but keeping one arm draped across my shoulders. So, tour guide, where to first? I adjusted her bag strap. Depends. Hungry. Starving. Train food is criminal. There's this ramen place nearby. Best chashu in the district. Her eyes lit up. Lead the way. We fell into step together, her arm still casually linked with mine. The stairs continued. We made an interesting pair, I supposed. Me in all black, carrying her pastel bag like it weighed nothing. Her practically glowing with excitement, pointing out every interesting shop window we passed. Oh, cute cafe. We should try it later. They do good parfaits. She raised an eyebrow. You've been. Mom likes their coffee. I steered us around a group of tourists. And their strawberry shortcake is decent. Decent, he says. Like you're some cake expert. I appreciate good desserts. Noted. She bumped my shoulder playfully. For future reference. Future reference. Future. With her. Earth to Izuku. She waved her free hand in front of my face. You an all-thinking face on me. Just remembering something. Lies. You were overthinking again. She poked my cheek. I can tell by the little crease right here. I don't have a thinking crease. You absolutely do. It's adorable. She stretched up on tiptoes, studying my face critically. Yep, definitely overthinking. Spill. Just glad you're here. Her expression softened. Me too. Then the playful spark returned. Even if you did try to go all proper and distant at first. I did not dash. Please. I saw that deer in headlights look when I jumped you. She squeezed my arm. Like you thought I was going to be all formal after 3 weeks of late-night calls. Put like that, it did sound ridiculous. In my defense, I said carefully, most people don't greet their friends with flying tackles. Most people are boring. She shrugged. Besides, you caught me. Knew you would. That's not the point, Dash. No, the point is you're cute when you're flustered. She grinned up at me. And way too easy to tease. Before I could form a coherent response, she gasped and pulled us to a stop. Is that the ramen place? It looks so cozy. The small restaurant was tucked between 2 larger buildings, steam fogging its windows. A red paper lantern swayed gently in the breeze, casting warm light across the entrance. Best seats are at the counter, I said, grateful for the subject change. You can watch them make everything. Perfect. She finally released my arm to push open the door. After you, handsome. Handsome. The casual compliment hit like a physical thing. She called me that before, during our video calls, but somehow hearing it in person, thinking face again, she sang, giving me a gentle push. Food first. The familiar sense of pork bone broth and garlic hit us as we entered. The shop was small, just 10 counter seats and 3 tables, but the atmosphere was warm and inviting. Steam rose from massive pots behind the counter, and the rhythmic sound of knife work filled the air. Midoriya-kun. The elderly owner brightened as we approached. Ah, and who's this lovely young lady? Kami Utsushimi. She introduced herself with a small bow. I'm starting a UA with Izuku in a few weeks. Another hero student? Wonderful. He gestured to 2 empty seats. Please sit. The usual for you, Midoriya-kun. I nodded, setting Kami's bag carefully beside our stools. And whatever she'd like. My treat. She opened her mouth to protest, but I cut her off. You're buying next time. Her protest died in a pleased smile. Next time, huh? Well, you need to know all the good spots once you move here. True. She studied the menu intently. What's good besides the chashu? Everything. At her skeptical look, I elaborated. But the tantamen is amazing if you like spicy food. Sold. She set down the menu. 1 tantamen, extra spicy, please. The owner chuckled. Coming right up. And the special for Midoriya-kun. We watched him work, the efficiency of decades showing in every motion. Kami leaned closer, her shoulder brushing mine. This is nice, she said softly. Being here for real, not just through a screen. Yeah. I resisted the urge to pull her closer. Though you did make the video calls fun. Even when I called at midnight, because I couldn't sleep. Especially then. Those late-night conversations had become something of a highlight. Her voice getting progressively sleepier, her guard dropping just a little. The owner returned with 2 steaming bowls, breaking the moment. Enjoy. Kami's eyes widened at the sight of her tantamen. This looks incredible. Wait till you taste it. She didn't need more encouragement, diving in with enthusiasm. Her first bite drew a sound of pure satisfaction that did interesting things to my pulse. Oh my God. She took another bite. This is amazing. How is this so good? Family recipe. The owner called from further down the counter. 3 generations of perfecting it. I can tell. She attacked the noodles with renewed vigor. This might be better than SX. I choked on my broth. Careful there. She patted my back, not looking remotely sorry. Can't have you dying before showing me the rest of the neighborhood. You're terrible. You love it. She stole a piece of my chashu. Oh wow. You weren't kidding about this either. Hey, payment for emotional damages. She grinned. Besides, sharing is caring. That's not Dash. I cut off as she held out a spoonful of her tantamen. Fair's fair. Try it. The spicy broth hit my tongue, followed by the complex layers of sesame and chili oil. Damn. Right? She looked entirely too pleased with herself. We're definitely coming back here. Planning my whole schedule already? Obviously. Someone needs to make sure you don't spend all your time training. She poked my arm. Speaking of which, these are new. I glanced down at where her finger traced one of the more prominent muscles visible through my sleeve. Just the usual workout routine. Usual for who? All Might. She squeezed my bicep appreciatively. I mean, you were fit at the exam, but this is... She trailed off, a faint blush coloring her cheeks. Gramps is very thorough with online training, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. And I might have stepped it up a bit after the exam. Of course you did. She shook her head fondly. Try not to get too buff, though. I like being able to koala hug you. Noted. No All Might physique then. Good. She returned to her food, seemingly unaware of the effect her words had. Though you probably look good either way. Oh my god, this girl is going to be the death of me. Chapter 17, The Not Date Date. Part 2. I stared at my screen, blinking repeatedly as if that would somehow change the numbers. The Power Stone count sat at 800. 800. They not only hit the goal once, but twice in a single day. And I just finished uploading the first bonus chapter a few hours ago. This isn't possible. My Stitch onesie felt suddenly too warm as I scrolled through the notifications. You're all supposed to be sleeping or working or doing literally anything else. The comments section exploded with demands for the promised chapters. I made the challenge thinking it would give me breathing room. Who hits 400 Power Stones that quickly, let alone 800? My fingers trembled as I reached for my coffee mug, finding it depressingly empty. It's fine. This is fine. I just had to make it to Saturday without them gaining another 400. They couldn't possibly, right? A notification pinged. Another Power Stone. No. I pull my hood up, Stitch's ears flopping over my eyes. Don't you dare. Don't you dare get excited about this. Go back to your lives. I glanced at my notebook, where plot points and character arcs sprawled across pages in organized chaos. 2 more chapters. I could handle 2 more chapters. But if they hit another 400 before Saturday, another ping, another Power Stone, I groaned and face-planted into my desk, surrounded by empty energy drink cans and half-finished sketches. I created monsters. Beautiful, supportive, terrifying monsters. Just make it to Saturday, I told myself. They can't possibly do it again, right? We finished our meals in comfortable silence, occasionally stealing bites from each other's bowls. The owner beamed at our empty dishes. Come back anytime. He waved off my attempt to pay. On the house today. Consider it a celebration of your UA acceptance. Thank you, but dash. No buts. Just promise to visit again. We will, Cammy assured him. This place is too good not to. Outside, the afternoon sun had softened, casting long shadows across the street. I shouldered her bag again, and she immediately reclaimed her spot against my side. So, she said, what's next on the grand tour? Well, there's a nice park nearby. Good spot for people watching. I checked the time. Then maybe that cafe you liked? They do afternoon tea sets. Perfect. She snuggled closer as a cool breeze swept past. Lead on, tour guide. We walked slowly, taking in the sights. Cammy had opinions about everything. The cute boutique with vintage dresses, the bookstore cat sleeping in the window, the street musician playing something jazzy on a beaten-up saxophone. It's so lively here, she said, watching a group of kids chase each other with toy hero figures. Different from home. Good different. Yeah. She smiled up at me. Feels right, you know? Like this is where I'm supposed to be. The simple honesty in her voice made my heart skip. I'm glad. Me too. She stopped suddenly, tugging my arm. Oh, ice cream. Sure enough, a small cart was parked near the park entrance, a cheerful vendor arranging colorful toppings. We just ate. There's always room for ice cream. She batted her eyes at me. Please. Fine. Yes. She bounced on her toes. You're the best. You're just saying that because I'm buying. Nope. She popped the P sound. I'm saying it because it's true. Before I could process that, she was already at the cart, chatting animatedly with the vendor. I followed more slowly, trying to get my racing thoughts under control. This is fine. Everything's fine. Just a normal afternoon with a friend who happens to be beautiful and funny and somehow thinks you're the best. And, Izuku, what flavor do you want? I blinked, realizing I'd zoned out again. A green tea. Boring. She turned back to the vendor. 1 green tea and 1 strawberry cheesecake, please. Extra sprinkles on both. I don't need dash. Sprinkles make everything better. Plus, it looks good for Insta. She accepted the cones, passing me the green one. Trust me on this. The ice cream was good, the matcha flavor rich and not too sweet. Cammie's choice was considerably more elaborate, swirled with ribbons of strawberry sauce and graham cracker crumbs. Want to try? She held out her cone after taking at least 20 photos with it. I hesitated for a fraction of a second too long. She rolled her eyes and simply pressed the ice cream to my lips. There, now we're even. The sweetness burst across my tongue, along with the sudden realization that this was basically an indirect kiss. So childish. From her smirk, she knew exactly what she was doing. You're dangerous, I muttered. Period. She licked a stray drop from her cone, maintaining eye contact the whole time. Besides, what's life without a little danger? We found a bench near the park's central fountain, watching people pass by as we finished our ice cream. Cammie provided running commentary on particularly interesting outfits or hairstyles, occasionally creating small allusions to show how she'd improve them. That guy would look so much better with a proper undercut. She demonstrated with a shimmer of her quirk. See, you should go into fashion if the hero thing doesn't work out. Please, I'm going to rock both. She dispelled the illusion with a wave. Speaking of fashion, want to help me decorate my new place once I move in? You found somewhere? Maybe. She smiled mysteriously. Have to check out a few options first, including that unit your mom mentioned. 4B. It's nice. Good natural light. Cammie tapped her chin thoughtfully, ice cream cone tilting dangerously. Well, might as well check it out. Plus your mom did promise to feed me some katsudan. You remember that? Fam, I've been dreaming about it since she mentioned it in that talk. She caught a drip of melting ice cream with her tongue. And I really want to meet her properly. Video calls don't count. The last rays of sunlight painted everything in warm amber tones, softening the edges of buildings. She finished her cone and dusted off her hands, then held one out expectantly. Well, I stared at her outstretched hand. Your mom's katsudan isn't going to eat itself, Izuku. Her fingers wiggled impatiently. I took her hand, and she immediately laced our fingers together like it was the most natural thing in the world. Your hands are cold, I noted. Ice cream will do that. She pressed closer to my side. Good thing you're basically a space heater. We walked in comfortable silence, her thumb occasionally brushing across my knuckles. The streets grew familiar. The convenience store where Mom bought her morning coffee. The florist who always saved her favorite lilies. The elderly couple who walked their Shiba Inu at exactly 4 p.m. every day. Oh, that's my backup apartment option. Cammie pointed to a modern building with floor-to-ceiling windows. But honestly, way too exposed. Heroes need better security. Speaking from experience, let's just say some fans get creative with drones. She shuddered. Not dealing with that again. The implications of that statement sparked something protective in my chest. I squeezed her hand gently. 4B has reinforced windows and a pretty good security system. Trying to sell me on being neighbors. Izu? Just stating facts. MHM. She bumped my shoulder playfully. Nothing to do with wanting me close by. Before I could formulate a response that wouldn't incriminate me further, we reached my building. The familiar brick facade looked different somehow, knowing Cammie was seeing it for the first time. This is nice, she said, studying the well-maintained entrance. Homie, I fished out my keys one-handed, unwilling to let go of her just yet. The lobby was quiet, our footsteps echoing off polished floors. 4th floor. Cammie eyed the elevator skeptically. Please tell me that works. Usually, but the stairs are good exercise. Of course you'd say that. She tugged me toward the elevator anyway. Some of us didn't spend 10 months training with a martial arts master. The elevator arrived with a cheerful ding. Inside, Cammie examined her reflection in the mirrored walls, fixing invisible imperfections in her hair. Nervous? Me? Never. But her free hand kept smoothing non-existent wrinkles from her dress. Just want to make a good impression. Mom already likes you. Video calls aren't real life, Izu. She bit her lip. What if dash? The elevator stopped. I squeezed her hand again. Trust me. She met my eyes in the mirror. Always. The apartment door opened to darkness and silence. No shoes in the entryway except mine. No familiar humming from the kitchen. Mom, I called out, though it was clear she wasn't home. Cammy released my hand to slip off her boots, arranging them neatly beside my shoes. Should I call her? Probably. She wandered into the living room, taking everything in. Oh my God, is this baby eyes? I pulled out my phone, deliberately not looking at whichever embarrassing photo had caught her attention. Mom answered on the second ring. Izuku. Perfect timing. I'm just finishing up at the grocery store. Did you have a nice afternoon? Yeah, it was great. About dinner. Is Cammy-chan coming over? I got extra ingredients just in case. She's actually here now. Oh, Mom's voice brightened considerably. Wonderful. I'll be home soon. Make sure she's comfortable, and don't you dare start helping in the kitchen when I get back. This is your night off. But Dash. No buts. You two relax. I've been looking forward to this. She hung up before I could protest further. I turned to find Cammy examining our family photos with intense concentration. You were an adorable kid, she said without looking up. These All Might onesies are killing me. Mom's on her way. Perfect. She pointed to a particularly mortifying shot of 3-year-old me covered in mud. Story. Now, I was trying to rescue a frog. Of course you were. She moved to the next photo. Your mom takes really good pictures. She says memories are important. Cammy nodded, trailing her fingers across a frame, holding my elementary school graduation photo. Her expression shifted, something soft and sad crossing her features. Hey, I stepped closer. What's wrong? Nothing. She shook her head. This is what a home should feel like, you know? Warm, full of memories, love. The weight behind those words hung in the air. I reached for her hand again, and she threaded our fingers together immediately. Mom's going to fill at least 3 albums with UA photos. Yeah, probably more. She's already planning coordinated holiday cards. That startled a laugh out of her. Seriously? She has a Pinterest board. That's adorable. Cammy squeezed my hand. Think she'll let me help? Pretty sure you're already factored into the plans. She turned to face me fully, eyes bright in the dim room. Eyes and keys rattled in the door. We jumped apart like guilty teenagers, which was ridiculous considering we'd done nothing wrong. Mom bustled in, arms full of grocery bags. I'm home. Cammy-chan, welcome. Thank you for having me, Midoriya-san. Cammy bowed perfectly. Your home is lovely. None of that formal nonsense. Call me Inko. Mom set down her bags and pulled Cammy into a warm hug. I'm so happy to finally meet you in person. Cammy stiffened for a fraction of a second before melting into the embrace. Something complicated passed across her face. Longing, maybe, or recognition of what she'd been missing. Now then, Mom released her, but kept one hand on her shoulder. You must be hungry after your trip. Izuku, be a dear and put these away while I chat with Cammy. You said Dash. Putting away groceries isn't cooking. She shooed me toward the kitchen. Cammy-chan, make yourself comfortable. Would you like some tea? Yes, please. I sorted vegetables into their proper places, listening to Mom and Cammy chat easily in the living room. Their laughter mingled together, punctuated by the soft clink of teacups. Oh, do you have any baby photos of Izuku in his hero costume? He mentioned making them. Of course. Let me find that album. Note to self. Hide those albums before next time. Izuku. Mom called. Come look at this one. I braced myself for maximum embarrassment. Chapter 18. Can't stop the feeling or the furniture moving. I entered the living room to find Mom and Cammy huddled over a thick green photo album. Mom's eyes sparkled with the particular joy she reserved for sharing embarrassing childhood stories. Oh, this one's perfect. Mom tapped a photo that made Cammy's face light up. He was so serious about being a hero, even at 3. There I stood in a handmade All Might costume, complete with pipe cleaner hair spikes and a cape made from Mom's old yellow curtains. My tiny fists rested on my hips in what was probably meant to be a heroic pose. Look at those little muscle pads. Cammy traced the obviously stuffed fabric arms. Did you make this, Inko? Every bit. Mom smoothed the plastic covering the photo. He refused to take it off for 2 weeks straight. I had to wash it while he was sleeping. Mom. He kept coming up with different hero names, too. She turned the page, revealing more photos of tiny me practicing poses in the living room. What was it? Mighty All Man. No way. Cammy leaned closer. Please tell me there are more. Oh, there were plenty. All Might Jr., Captain All Might. Mom paused for dramatic effect. But my personal favorite was Super All Might. That's mad cute. Cammy glanced up at me. Super All Might, huh? I dropped onto the couch beside them, accepting my fate. I was 3, the cutest 3-year-old hero ever. Mom flipped another page. Look, here he is saving Mr. Whiskers from a tree. The cat in question, our elderly neighbor's Persian, looked supremely unimpressed as tiny me attempted to rescue him from his favorite napping spot. Did you at least get him down safely, Super All Might? He scratched me and jumped down himself. His first villain defeat, Mom said solemnly, then broke into giggles. Cammy joined in, shoulders shaking. The origin story we didn't know we needed. I have videos too, Mom offered. Want to see his debut speech? Absolutely not. I reached for the album, but Mom definitely moved it out of range. Too late. She was already pulling up her phone's video gallery. It's traditional to show the embarrassing childhood footage. Isn't that supposed to wait until you've been dating someone for dash? The words died in my throat as I realized what I'd said. Mom's hands stilled on her phone. Cammy's laughter faded into something softer, more contemplative. Well, Mom said finally, her voice gentle, good memories shouldn't wait for arbitrary timelines. She pressed play. 3-year-old me appeared on screen, cape slightly crooked, attempting to deepen my voice to match All Might's. Fear not, citizens. Super All Might is here to save the day with his super special move. Past me struck a pose that sent one of my pipe cleaner hair spikes drooping sadly over my eye. Mega Mighty Super Smash. The smash mostly involved spinning in a circle until I got dizzy and fell over. Past Mom's laughter rang from behind the camera as she rushed to check if I was okay. I'm fine, Past me declared from the floor. Heroes always get back up. Present Mom paused the video, eyes suspiciously bright. He really hasn't changed, has he? Nah, even I could see that. Cammy bumped her shoulder against mine. The warmth in her voice made my chest tight. Mom looked between us, something knowing in her expression. I should start dinner, she announced, standing smoothly. Cammy-chan, would you like to help? I could use another set of hands, and Izuku's banned from the kitchen tonight. For real. Cammy bounced her feet. I'd love to, but you're a guest, Dash. Guests can help if they want. Mom shepherded Cammy toward the kitchen. Besides, I have so many more stories to share. Mom, only the good ones, dear. She winked. Mostly, I slumped back into the couch, listening to them chat as they gathered ingredients. Mom's patient explanations mixed with Cammy's eager questions about techniques and seasonings. The secret isn't how you cut the pork, Mom said. Here, like this. That's so smart. My knife skills are pretty basic. Practice makes perfect, though sometimes I think Izuku took that too literally. He used to practice his hero poses while helping me cook. Please tell me there are pictures of that too. An entire album. Their laughter rang out again, perfectly in sync. The sounds of cooking filled the apartment. The rhythmic chopping of vegetables, oil heating in a pan, rice being measured into the cooker. Familiar scents began wafting from the kitchen, along with more snippets of conversation. He really made his own moves? Oh yes, the super mighty double chop was a favorite. Nearly knocked over my spice rack once. I should have been mortified. Instead, something warm settled in my chest. Izuku, Mom called. Set the table, please. I gathered plates and chopsticks, arranging them carefully on the dining table. More laughter spilled from the kitchen, punctuated by the sizzle of katsudon hitting hot oil. No peeking, Cammy warned as I passed the kitchen doorway. We're creating art here. Is art supposed to smell like burning? That's just the garlic. Mom shooed me away. Go relax. We got this handled. I retreated to the living room, where the photo album still lay open. Tiny me beamed up from the pages, dreams too big for his small body, but determined to grow into them anyway. Dinner's ready. Mom emerged carrying a steaming pot. Cammy right behind her with a bowl of perfectly fried katsu. Cammy-chan's quite the natural in the kitchen, just following your expert guidance. Cammy set down her burden, cheeks flushed from the heat and praise. This looks amazing. We settled around the table, steam rising from golden brown cutlets nestled in eggs and onions. Mom served generous portions, beaming as Cammy's eyes widened at the first bite. This is incredible, she breathed. Like actually life-changing. Mom's Katsudan has that effect. The secret ingredient is love, Mom said, then laughed at our matching groans. Well, that and proper temperature control. Speaking of which, Cammy-chan, you picked up the technique very quickly. I had a good teacher. Cammy took another bite. The meal continued, conversation flowing easily between bites. Mom drew out stories about Cammy's hometown, her hopes for UA, her thoughts on hero work. Each answer revealed new layers. The careful consideration behind her casual demeanor, the sharp intelligence often hidden by her playful speech. Actually, Cammy said, setting down her chopsticks, I was hoping to ask your opinion about something, Inko. Of course, dear. That apartment you mentioned, for B, would it be weird if I lived in the same building as you guys? Mom's eyes lit up. Weird? It would be wonderful. The unit's lovely, great natural light, new appliances, and the security system was just upgraded last month. Plus, I added, the neighborhood's safe, and it's an easy commute to UA. Sold. Cammy grinned. When can I see it? I'll call the landlord first thing tomorrow. Mom reached across the table to squeeze Cammy's hand. You'll love it here, and it'll be so nice having you close by. Yeah. Cammy glanced between us, something vulnerable beneath her smile. You're sure it won't be too much? Never. Mom's voice held absolute certainty. You're always welcome here, Cammy-chan. Always. The moment hung there, heavy with meaning. Cammy blinked rapidly, her free hand fidgeting with her napkin. Thank you, she said softly, for everything. The food, the stories, just everything. Thank you for being such wonderful company. Mom stood, gathering empty plates. Now, who's ready for dessert? March 29th, 2226. Hell no. I stared at the heavy oak dresser that had already crossed Cammy's bedroom 5 times. It's staying right here. But is it? Cammy tugged at the oversized black t-shirt she'd stolen from my closet, the hem hitting mid-thigh above her shorts. The feng shui is all wrong. The feng shui was wrong by the window, and the door, and the closet. I crossed my arms, tank top damp with sweat from hours of furniture assembly. Pick a wall and commit. Justin Timberlake's Can't Stop the Feeling pumped from her JBL speakers, the bass vibrating through the half-assembled bedroom. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. Just one more time. She clasped her hands together, giving me doe eyes. Please? I promise I'll do anything to make it up to you. You said that 3 dressers ago, but I really mean it this time. She swayed to the music, bare feet sliding across hardwood. Come on, shake off that pout. Dance with me. I'm not Dash, her fingers wrapped around my wrist, tugging me into an impromptu spin. Cammy, nothing cures furniture fatigue like dancing. She twirled under my arm, t-shirt swishing. Show me those moves you've been hiding. I can't stop the feeling. Fine. I caught her hand, leading her into a proper dance hold. One song. Her eyes widened as I guided her through a quick step sequence, our feet finding the rhythm. You've been holding out on me. Mom insisted on lessons. Another turn, smoother this time. Said it would help with coordination. Remind me to thank her. Cammy matched my steps, picking up the pattern quickly. Speaking of Inko, don't remind me. The memory of Mom's cryptic smile surfaced. She bought a book on grandparenting yesterday. No way. Said this would be good practice for us. I dipped her on the chorus, drawing a delighted laugh. She's getting ideas. Can't imagine why. Cammy straightened, fingers trailing along my shoulder. We're just 2 friends, moving furniture, dancing in an empty apartment. While you wear my clothes. They're comfy. She spun out, then back in. Besides, all my stuff's still in boxes. Speaking of which, we're not moving the dresser again. Party pooper. She stuck out her tongue. UA starts in 3 days. Let me have my feng shui. Let me have my sanity. The song faded into something slower, an old Ed Sheeran track. 5 days of closing paperwork. 3 days of shopping. And now this. But look how nice everything is. She gestured around the room. Worth every minute. I had to admit, the space had transformed. Modern furniture mixed with vintage finds, potted plants dotting windowsills, fairy lights strung across exposed beams. It felt lived in already despite the boxes. It's perfect. I caught her mid-spin, which is why the dresser stays put. Fine. She melted into a proper slow dance hold. But only because you're such a good dance partner. You're not so bad yourself. Natural talent. She rested her head against my shoulder, humming along to the music. Thanks for helping. I know it's been a lot. We're friends for. Her fingers tightened slightly on my shoulder. Yeah, friends. Outside, the sun had begun to set, painting the room in soft orange light. The music shifted again. Taylor Swift this time. Something about paper rings and picture frames. 3 more days, Cammy murmured. Everything changes. Not everything. I guided us in a slow circle, avoiding a stack of unpacked boxes. Some things stay exactly where they belong. She lifted her head, meeting my eyes. Like dressers. Like dressers. Her laugh vibrated against my chest. Okay. Message received. She pulled back slightly, though her hand stayed in place. But the bookshelf. Cammy. Just kidding. She grinned. Mostly. We swayed through another song, then another. Through the wall, I heard Mom humming in her kitchen, pots clanking as she prepared dinner. This is nice, Cammy said softly. Having a real home. The vulnerability in her voice made my chest tight. You deserve it. Yeah. She glanced up through her lashes. Even with all my feng shui demands. Even then, I spun her one last time as the song ended. Though maybe limit furniture rearrangement to once per semester. Twice. Once. 1.5. That's not even possible. Sure it is. She bounced on her toes. Move half the furniture once, then the other half later. You're impossible. She skipped toward the door. Come on, I smell curry. Your mom's probably wondering if we've killed each other over furniture placement. Bold of you to assume she hasn't been watching through the security cameras. Nah, she trusts us. Cammy paused in the doorway. Mostly, says the girl who stole my shirt. Borrowed. She tugged at the hem, with every intention of returning it. Eventually. Race you to dinner? She was already moving, bare feet silent on hardwood. Cheater. I chased after her, both of us laughing as we thundered down the stairs. Mom stood in her doorway, wooden spoon in hand. No running in the halls. Sorry, Inko. Cammy skidded to a stop. Something smelled amazing. Curry. Mom's eyes sparkled. And I see you two worked up an appetite. Dancing burns quite a few calories. I froze. You were watching. The walls are thin, dear. She stepped back, gesturing us inside. Mom, just kidding. Although, a mother has to keep an eye on her investments. She ladled curry over rice, steam rising. Both financial and emotional. Cammy accepted her bowl with a grin. The apartment's definitely worth investing in. Oh, I wasn't talking about the apartment. Mom handed me my portion, eyes twinkling. Now, eat up. You'll need energy for tomorrow. Tomorrow? What's tomorrow? Living room furniture arrives at 9. Cammy blew on a spoonful of curry. Hope you're ready for round 2. I hate you both. No, you don't. They spoke in perfect unison, then dissolved into giggles. I dropped into my chair, watching them share knowing looks over their curry. 3 days until UA. 3 days until everything changed. But some things I realized as Cammy stole a piece of chicken from my bowl.